Hello, welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. It's summertime, it's getting hot. If you've been here for a long time, you might have seen this before. I'm gonna do my Japanese cucumber salad. So when I was a kid growing up, my mom's Japanese, and this was something that my grandmother made all the time. My mom's mom, maybe it was my mom's dad, but I think it was my mom's mom, made all the time. And then it just became a staple that my parents made at our house growing up. And it was just like something that was always around, especially in the summertime, especially when cucumbers were in season, because they had gardens. Always, if we were traveling and it was gonna be like picnic food, then my grandmother would make this. Like, this is her like prime picnic food thing, okay? So take a cucumber. I peeled it like mostly, somewhat. You don't have to peel it. She would sometimes half peel it. She would sometimes peel the whole thing. Hothouse cucumbers, so they're like really long and they come in like individually wrapped in plastic. And then be ever so careful. We're gonna use a mandolin, okay? I'm gonna use it on level 1, which is the thinnest that you can get it. And mandolins come with a guard and a glove, so I recommend both of those things. Look at how far I am away from the blade. And so I'll go pretty quick when I'm this far away. When you get closer to the blade, you need to go slow. And maybe the most important thing is don't press down. I'm not pressing down at all. Like, I'm barely holding on to this cucumber, and I'm just going back and forth and letting the blade do the work. I think a lot of people who have accidents with mandolins, it's because they're pressing down, and then when you slip, you cut your hand, right? I'm barely pressing at all. So if I did slip, I wouldn't hit the blade, right? Because I have control over my hand. Never get in a position in the kitchen when you're using anything sharp that you are not in control, right? You're not watching what you're doing. You're not paying attention. I made this probably a year and a half ago on here, and I used to cut the ends of the cucumber off. But one tip that someone gave me was like, just don't cut that off. And it's like a little natural guard for your mandolin, because you're gonna cut the tip of that cucumber off anyways. So then you don't have to go as, as close to the blade, right? If that makes sense. I just want to show you too what these look like. They're just super paper thin, thinner than a pickle. A lot of people, when they see me make this, are like, oh, they're pickles. And that's fine. You can call them pickles if you want. That's not what they are. This is like a Japanese dish. If you've ever been to a sushi restaurant and you get like a bento box, or even maybe just before you eat as like a little appetizer, they'll bring you out a salad that's very similar to this. Sometimes they put shoyu in it. In my family, we did not. So see, I didn't cut the end of the cucumber off, and so now I can stop. I have this little like nub. Maybe go one more, and that'll be our trash, right? So I'm gonna do, it doesn't really matter how many you do, a cucumber or 2 or 3 or 20. It doesn't really change the ratio or the recipe that much. It's a very forgiving type of thing, because basically it's just like a light sort of salad. I feel like I need to toss them in a little bit bigger bowl. So let's transfer them into a little bit bigger bowl here. I'm gonna actually end up storing them in this bowl, so it won't be me dirtying a bowl for no reason. I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of white sugar to this. And then this is rice vinegar. This one doesn't have any sugar or any salt in it, but sometimes vinegars do, or most vinegars do. So if you use the seasoned rice vinegar, that's gonna have a little bit more umphy to it, and be my guest. That's delicious. If all you can find is white vinegar, apple cider vinegar, it works. But the original recipe is rice vinegar. So I'm just basically gonna put enough rice vinegar in here to get pretty good coverage and a toss. When I was growing up, they were swimming in it. I mean, it was absolutely swimming in it, because you kind of fish them out to eat them. So I might end up adding a little bit more, probably like 1 bottle for how much I have here. I'm just gonna add a little pinch of salt just to bring out those flavors, and then some white sesame seeds. Put some white sesame seeds in there. I don't always add them, but I do like them in there. My grandmother would always make this the day before. Like if we were going on a picnic the next day, she would make this before. She would make rice balls before. Oh, I just splashed. She would make chicken before, and we would eat it all cold for lunch. She would have like a chicken thigh, a cold rice ball, and this delicious salad, which just added a nice, like, slightly sweet, acidic, fresh bite to the lunch, which I love. So it's not really designed to be eaten right off, but you certainly could if you wanted to. But it's better to let it sit and let it all marinate and, you know, get pickly, since everyone loves to say they're pickles just because they're cucumbers. And there's vinegar, but there's no pickling spices in here. Time to give a taste test. I'm going to dig down to the bottom to one that is fully submerged. And you can see there's like liquid. Like in my world, this needs to be more liquid, but I'm going to wait till I transfer it to the smaller bowl. Already delicious. So good. Just going to get better as it sits. If you don't like vinegar, this is not for you. It's a very vinegar forward. They're so crunchy, just ever so slightly sweet. So good. I could eat the whole bowl. Add a couple more sesame seeds too. This is a great side dish to serve, especially with spicy or fatty foods, because it just has that refreshing bite that really helps cut through greasiness or spiciness. So it's a great addition to have. I'm gonna give it another little toss. I'm gonna put a lid on it. I'm gonna pop it in the fridge. We can eat it with dinner tonight. We can eat it tomorrow. You can eat it for a snack.